Welcome everyone to the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation. This is a come as you are congregation. No matter who you are, who you love, what your faith, you're welcome here. Is my mic on? Now on? Okay. No matter who you are, okay, what your faith, who you love, you are welcome here. My name is Kathy Hartman. I'm a worship associate, and today I'm joined by Clay Roper and Peter Schenk. We acknowledge that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. Do we have any first-time visitors here today? Oh, good, it's all the old hands. Great. I'm sorry. Well, today we're having an interesting survey. I hope it'll be interesting. It's a collage of voices, and it is many voices from our ukes to our stories that you've submitted to Janen as a religious educator and all the other voices in this congregation. A few reminders. Next week, Dr. Claire Hemmer will be leading the service. And then we head into December, which is a jam-packed month. So I'm just going to do a couple of announcements. On Tuesday, December 6th, 7 p.m. is the holiday healing service. Not everybody, everywhere, all the time is happy at Christmas. It's not merry and bright for every single person going through the holidays. And sometimes it's really challenging. This is a service where you can come, it's a contemplative service, and it's a very healing place to be. So December 6th, 7 p.m. On Wednesday, December 7th, the women's group is having a book exchange and sharing refreshments, 5:30 p.m. in the social hall. Friday, December 9th is Parents' Night Out, where you bring your kids and go do some shopping or whatever you'd like to do, and we'll take care of them and entertain them. And on Saturday, December 10th is the celebration of Kent Robertson's life at 10 a.m. So please turn to somebody near you and welcome them to the service and give them a hi. Thanks. Yeah, there they go again.
For today's chalice lighting, we'll be reading Change Is by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. It's the only constant in all that change is. It's the passing of things.
It's the passing of things. Can you hear me? All right. It's the passing of things. Change is the becoming of us all. It is a parade, this change is. It is a dance, this change is.
It is the river and the stepping that's never twice. It is the tragedy of all that was, this change is.
It is the fear of all that is this change in us. It is the hope of what may be yet this constant, this change.
This ice to water, this day to eternity. Come to the river, step, step, step.
Now if you all join us in singing Come Sing a Song With Me, number 346 in the gray hymnal.
Sing a song
congregational affirmation. Love
is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Janen.
Okay, I'm just gonna move these props so you can all see. Okay, so today I brought a story about a Native American story about a girl and her grandma and a dream. And I have a story that's a lot like this. So I wanted to share. Okay, that's the one. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay. So this is a Native American story about a girl, her grandma, and a dream. And this reminded me of something that happened to me. So when I was, my dad's mom died before I was ever born, and her name was Lena. And I grew up hearing about how much alike we were. So I always kind of felt close to her, even though I never knew her in person. So when I was 21, I decided to go on a mission, and I turned in my papers, and I received a letter that said that I'd be sent to Honduras. So I was very scared because I didn't yet know Spanish. I had never been out of the country before, and I'd never been a missionary before, which is a whole nother life with a lot of rules and stuff like that. So I had a lot of trepidation, and I went to sleep the night before I was to leave to Honduras. And in this dream, my grandmother, Lena, was all excited. She was running around and having this big party for her friends. She was all excited that her granddaughter was going on a mission. And I said, well, I don't know how excited I am. And she's like, don't worry. There's no need to fear. You're going to end up loving your mission, and I'll be with you every step of the way. She gave me a great big hug, and I woke up with tears just streaming down my face. And I have never had a dream like that before or since, and it doesn't really fit into my theology even, but it was a really powerful experience and one I'll never forget. And it really did help me change my fear to courage. And especially those first days, that was very much a safety, a strength to me. So when I read this story, it really penetrated my heart. And it's about a Native American girl, and she's in a beautiful forest. This is the place she loved to go with her grandma. And they would walk and talk, and then they would sit very, very still, and all the animals would come out to take a drink at the river, and they loved to watch the animals together. But as you can see, she's very sad today because her grandma's not with her. Her grandma had died. Her mom and dad told her that her grandma had gone to live with the ancestors. So she is very sad, and she decided, she was so sad, she laid down and she cried herself to sleep there where her grandma and her usually went. And while she was sleeping, animals came in from the forest in her dream and gave her a message. And so if my animals could come forward.
I am a sea otter. I stand for playfulness and joy. Don't worry, you will be happy again. I give you this gift from your grandmother.
I stand for adaptability and transformation. I'm a frog. One day, your sorrow will turn to joy, and when you remember your grandmother, you will smile.
I'm the bear. I stand for courage and physical strength. I give you this gift from your grandmother.
I am Eagle. I stand for the divine spirit, creation, and freedom. This is the gift your grandmother sends you.
I stand for healing and rebirth. Your sad heart will one day be healed. I give you this gift from your grandmother.
And so a big wind blew up from the valley and woke the girl up, and she stood up and she looked around, but actually, unlike all the animals were gone. Was there, but lying beside her on the ground was eagle feather. And so she slowly picked it up and put it in her hair. And she brushed off her skirts and started walking back to the village. And you know, she knew that she would always miss her grandma, but her heart was full of joy and peace and the strength of the animals. And her heart was especially full of the love that her grandmother had for her. And she knew everything would be okay.
This service has a lot of moving parts. So each week we take some time to hear from each other about our joys and concerns and sorrows and things that are happening in our lives that we'd like to share with this beloved community. So I'd like you to come up and speak into the mic and let us know what's going on, how we can be of help.
I'm Tam, and I'm going to tattletale. As your social justice ministry chair, one of the most incredible things that happened last week is I got to watch Reverend Dana give an amazing first sermon here. And then Andrea blessed us with incredible music, and our minister was here. And then she did an outstanding job at First Congregational Church with the Transgender Day of Awareness. She cooperated with 2 other ministers. It was transformative. She was so outstanding. And then on her day off, which is Monday, our membership chair, Pedro, on Sunday went to Fort Collins to go to the vigil. And he had an idea, he had an inspiration. He said, I want to do something like that in Loveland. And he spoke with the right people, and all of a sudden it started to snowball, and he got me involved. And within just a few hours, we put together a vigil on the steps of the city council in the plaza right there at City Hall. And Dana came. Now, I'm an old dog. I have been doing vigils, and I've been doing memorials, and I have been doing rallies and protests, and never have I ever seen a minister come up, take the microphone, and salud, literally give everybody a sense of belonging. She just wrapped us in song and a cocoon of care. It was outstanding. So whoever the chair, the committee people that were out there from Namaqua that were in charge of bringing Reverend Dana to us, we're going to give you a piggyback ride after service today, because it was unbelievable. We are so blessed to have Reverend Dana here. She is a light, not just here, but in the community. Amazing. We hear you, we hold you, and we love you.
And Tam,
And we hear you, we hold you, and we love you also for all that you do with social justice. Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Vicky, and I'm sorry that I missed all of that, but it was quite a joy to be in Texas with all of our grandkids and our dear great granddaughter. The other joy I have this morning, I think it's the first time I've noticed it, but thank you to whoever is making it possible to actually read the words on our screen. Yay. And then as I recited the covenant this morning and read the part or spoke the part about how we help each other, I'm here to say that Tom and I need a little help. We had a project done. A couch was moved into our storage area. It got in there, but we can't get it out. We have taken the door off. We've now taken all of the trim off the door. So if any of you, male, female, or anything in between, can help us, speak to me after the service. Thank you very much.
Well, Vicki, for all of that, and hopefully we get some help to you. We hear you, we hold you, care for you. And just to add to the many talents of our new minister, the tech improvements that we're seeing have a lot to do with her talents in that area also. Anyone else have a joy or concern you'd like to share with us?
On Thursday, December 1st, I am going to leave on the most extensive, expensive, terrifying trip I've ever taken. And I've needed some help along the way. And I sure belong to the right congregation. Because when I need help, I get help. You guys are Shazam. Thank you.
For the compelling way in which MIM can always ask for and receive help. Anyone else? Well, for all those joys and sorrows that may not be available to us or too tender to say, we hear you.
We hold you. We care for you. And now, continuing in our,
We do have one,
oh, Zoom, I forgot about Zoom.
no
What do
problem.
we have there?
Brenda Christensen had as a joy and a concern. Her joy is that Wade's biopsy came back benign. But her concern is that he will probably need surgery to correct it.
So for Brenda Christensen, her husband Way will probably need surgery. Okay,
Yes.
Brenda and Way and family, we hear you, we hold you, we care for you. That's it? Okay, so now we will move on to a very beautiful rendition of a classic song by our own unique Ukes. Let you guys set up.
A time to love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
Talent lurks in every pew here. So one of the ways that we walk our talk is to make a contribution to a local nonprofit each quarter. And this quarter, we are giving to the Rocky Mountain Planned Parenthood. So if the ushers would come forward and take your collection, as you know, they're doing a lot of work that they weren't planning on here in Colorado and have a lot of needs. I think our timing is good. Shared ministry, we sometimes do a service called a collage of voices. We pose a question and ask for anyone to submit a reflection on that. 12 people have something to say that answers today's question. What was your life was never the same again story?
Start by reading, thank you, Memorial by Amanda Gorman. When we tell a story, we are living memory. In ancient Greece, the muses, the dainty-footed daughters of memory, were thought to inspire artists. It isn't knowing, but remembering that makes us create. This would explain why so much great art arises from trauma, nostalgia, or testimony. But why alliteration? Why the pulsing percussion, the string of syllables? It is the poet who pounds the past back into you. The poet transcends telling or performing a story and instead remembers it, touches, tastes, and traps its vastness. Only now can memory, previously marooned, find safe harbor within us. Feel all these tales crushing our famished mouth.
The first response. When I turned 40 years old, it was the first birthday that ever really had an impact on me. Fortunately, no birthday since then has ever bothered me again. At 40, I realized that I really was an adult for all purposes. Specifically, I could not use youth or lack of experience for any reason anymore. My sense of responsibility was enhanced 3 months later when my father died after a long illness. Things got even worse after that when my mother died suddenly and unexpectedly 6 months after my father. So at 40, I had 2 parents, and by 41, I had none. My brother met me at the airport and told me that we were orphans now and needed to stick together. A person that I knew commented that you are always a child until your last parent dies. It sinks in when your first dilemma arises and you can't follow your instinct to consult with your parents.
On August 27th, 1998, I woke up, bought a one-way ticket to New York City, and left the next day. I just knew something far better was waiting for me in the Big Apple. Even though I didn't know a soul, I had no job lined up or anywhere to live. With 4 days, everything fell into place, and the rest is history. My fearlessness and total faith in my dreams and abilities has been my magic carpet, taking me wherever my heart leads, and has never let me down. There are many family members and lifelong friends who refused to support my choice. They became bitter, resentful, and their jealousy ruined our relationship.
In April 1992, I attended a Women's Spirit Conference at the Unitarian Church of Evanston, Illinois. The keynote speaker was Dr. Rebecca Parker. In one of the breakout sessions, I joined a small group convened by Melinda Perrin, who was a student of a Seneca elder, Grandmother Twyla Nitsch. She introduced me to the lessons of the Native American medicine wheel. It felt like coming home, like an affirmation of my suspicions that all life is connected and sacred. From that time onward, I have continued to learn from Native American and other indigenous cultures, and have done my best to honor that sacredness and, to the extent that I am able, to share these concepts with others.
Another things were never the same submission. The two-legged stool, 31 December 2016. Tipping, barely balanced, I lost my usual supports. Equilibrium, my place, my neighborhood, my country. To bury my head in the sand or to go forth like a crusader. Embrace a new resistance, stand up, be counted, be firm, and toss overboard all that is dear. My beloved home, my land, my shoulder to cry on, my routines, the wild. It all seems so pointless, destabilizing, vindictive to be indulging in my passions without sticking up for change. A feeling of restless detachment has been evolving, growing into action, slowly, surely, even before the seer, before the unexpected buyer, before the election, before I counted my lover as a betrayal, before everyone left. On the eve of this auspicious new year, what will change for me? What will change for my country? What now? Do I tip over the stool? Do I right it? Do I build new legs to steady it? Or do I do nothing and just let it rock?
Between my junior and senior years at college, I stayed with my dad. Not having a car, I thumbed a ride to get a beer. But nobody stopped, and I was ready to give up. My dad was working in our side yard. He called out, "No one's going to pick you up." I'd still be there. Suddenly, a yellow convertible with its top down stopped. A redheaded female said for me to get in. My dad expressed his surprise with a non-repeatable phrase. I showed him. I married her, and I had 2 perfect children got a job, et cetera, et cetera. And here I am. Glad I didn't give up my quest for a beer. Oh, yeah.
Once I discovered Fort Collins, things were never the same again, mostly in good ways. Rather late in life, I finally found a place that really felt like home. I reimagined my life around the joys of having many new friends and activities that I didn't make time for in my working days. I enjoyed the benefits of being too busy these days. It is truly a life well lived, and in a beautiful place besides. How could this place and this life be a loss? Well, I'm financially less wealthy than I was when I worked, or if I'd waited until my full retirement age, but I have what I need. And I am much further away from my family. Visits have become much less frequent. Life is ever about choices. Moving to Fort Collins, Colorado was undoubtedly a wise choice.
My parents died quite young while my sister, brother, and I were still in our 30s. While my siblings and I don't have serious issues, we are very different and not especially close. We also lived in different states. I found that without our parents to gather around, we just don't get together very often. Weddings and funerals, stopping by if we happen to be in the same area, but not the regular holidays and little celebrations. I miss their presence sometimes. So let's bring our unique ukes up again, take a little break from stories, and we'll come back to them after they give us a rendition of I'll Fly Away.
Yes, everybody sing with us if you know this song. Drown us out. When this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll
to it.
I'm going to go back to the things were never the same. Okay.
This time, we think we have a well-oiled machine here, but I forgot something. So at the end of each story, let's just say, thank you for sharing a bit of your life with us, to whomever submitted. So go ahead, Peter.
An event that changed my life was study abroad my junior year of college. I grew up in a small town in Western New York, and our extended family was all in New York and Michigan. I studied world history, and our church had foreign exchange students, our church had foreign exchange students, but I do think my awareness of the world was limited. I never imagined I could afford to travel until my German professor told me about the student exchange program. I spent 9 months in Oldenburg, Germany, 1969 and 1970. My understanding of world cultures and politics increased, and I've learned to be open to diverse views. My desire to travel and learn more quickly increased. Since then, I've tried to be an informed citizen of the world who values the dignity of all people.
Thank you for sharing a bit of your life with us. For me, the moment that changed everything came in the form of a phone call. My husband and 3 other men had left the previous day on a hunting trip. They were in a small plane headed for an airport in eastern Montana, where a relative had left a car for them to use. I was minding the store that my husband owned when the phone rang. The relative had checked at the airport and his car was still there. I was stunned. Search and rescue planes sprang into action, and volunteers, including myself, combed snowy mountain roads looking for signs of the missing men. However, because of some communication glitches, the plane was not found for 10 days. All 4 men had perished. My husband was just 38 years old. As I went about the business of picking up the pieces, I felt as if I were observing life from a different plane. I'm sure some of you can relate. I watched people living their normal, everyday lives, seemingly oblivious to the fact that everything had changed. How was it that life continued like that, and I was so separate from it? It's been 37 years since that time, and thinking about it is still painful. However, some things have changed for the better. I have a wonderful second husband. I am able to comfort others who have lost loved ones because they know I understand. I try to have gratitude for each day and to be kind to others. Life is too short to do otherwise.
I have 2 life-changing events that both happened to me in Oklahoma City many years ago. The first was the birth of my first child. Up until that point, I was a sweet little hippie girl who just wanted to float through life and go where the wind would take me. On that day, my heart cracked open, and I was transported to a place of intense love and desire to protect at all costs. I have been altered for the better as a person. I can't imagine my life without my children. The second life-altering event happened on April 19th, 1995, when the federal building was bombed in Oklahoma City by a domestic terrorist. I went to work at the bomb site as a nurse and got to stand directly in front of Ground Zero and witness the death and devastation that was caused by one rageful human. My family knew 4 of the people killed in that blast. Any sense of security and safety that we feel privileged to in this country was also blasted away as well. Mixed with the vast feelings of vulnerability came a strong sense of gratitude for the outpouring of love and generosity of the people of the world, for the families of the survivors and the first responders. We have never felt the same amount of protection and safety since that day. Things have never been the same.
you for sharing a bit of your life with us.
I never expected to figure out how to get to college. No one in my family had gone to college. I'd never set foot on a college campus, but I knew I belonged at the university. I knew there were so many things I wanted to study. In ninth grade, I was chosen, along with 5 other junior high kids, to visit the University of Wisconsin in Madison. We sat in on a few classes. I heard Dr. Harry Harlow speak on his classic monkey research about the importance of maternal contact and social relationships in early development. We visited the planetarium, a chemistry lab, an English literature class, and met with a counselor. Upon finding out how many resources were available to me, I knew I could find a way to get back to this magical place. And I did. My time at the university was truly life-changing.
Thank you for sharing a bit of your life with us. One day, I was living life and living quite contentedly. I had heard about this virus traveling through China, Europe, but it didn't affect me until it did. Things changed overnight. I couldn't feel comfortable going out. Fear was palpable. I live in an apartment and wondered if it was safe to walk in the halls or the elevator if someone else was there. I avoided people. Hugs were out. Being an introvert was no longer a choice. It was a mandate. I got into fear of missing out mode. If I got sick, would there be room for me in the hospital? What if my family got sick? Could I help them? It was shocking how quickly life turned upside down. When the first vaccines rolled off the line, I cried. I got a notice that I could get a vaccination and I felt that I had won the lottery. I rewrote my will. But I found things to do in solitude, and it has been wonderful to spend time with family every morning via Zoom. I've been going for walks in my neighborhood. Friends have been buying my groceries, and the day I got the courage to go to Safeway with a mask on, I felt like I had discovered an exotic bazaar full of treasures. What I've lost is my sense of well-being. I think things are fine, and then I hear about a new variant, or I hear about people that I know that are sick with COVID or something else they're calling the crud. I wonder if I will ever feel completely safe again. Thank you for sharing a bit of your life with us. Thank you all for sharing your stories. Let's take a moment of silence as we ponder the things big and small that changed the course of our lives.
As we extinguish the chalice and the words of a nice Nen, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Maybe so.